Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Wednesday Game review. This time, the 1983 Star Frontiers Knigjt Hawks expansion set for Star Frontiers by TSR Hobbies. This was actually kind of a really cool 2-for-1, almost even a 3-for-1. That being the expansion for Star Frontiers, the Spaceship Edition, all the rules and materials you'd need to build from the ground up your imaginary starships and characters with starship related skills and all the goodness therein. And also a standalone, more or less, board game of Starship Combat. As you can see, I still have the original dice. I'm going to go into all the materials, and then we'll talk a little bit about what each of the books has in store for you. I'll get this off to the side. Let's start with the most important, that being the basic advanced version of the rule book with everything you need to know to build your starships and add starship skills to your characters that you may have already rolled up elsewhere. You really should have both these books, both these games, for a proper game of Star Frontiers. On the back is a very nice character sheet. You can just photocopy. I always appreciate when they put the character sheet on the back of the book so you don't have to fold anything over when you're trying to fit it into your printer or your photocopy or what have you. Also included in here is the not there. Where is that other book? Is it in here? Oh, this is what I was talking about. This is the basic game and basically the board game for just building starships and blowing each other out of the skies. Not something I ever actually used on its own. This book was basically unused by us because we were playing a sci-fi role-playing game situation. But if you just want something quick, kind of along the lines of the old game Warp War or some other starship combat games, maybe even, what was it, Starfleet Wars or Starfleet Battles, not even remotely similar games, but along that vein. Now, of course, you get a nice set of counters. As you can see, these are still unpunched and in perfect shape. All kinds of fighter craft, aliens, missiles, asteroids, things like that you would need for both versions of the game. A very, very nice fold-out map to go along with the previous one, with not just outdoor locations, but also floor plans for starships, and a nice gigantic hex map. I'm not going to hold this in front of the camera for very long because it's just a basic generic hex map for roughly 1 centimeter counters. Then on the other side, the fans up on a bit, a little high today, but bear with me because it is about 1,000 degrees up here in the studio. As you can see, there's floor plans for starships, a little bit of outdoor locations, a park I think it is, and I forget what this one is, the elevator terminal, the residential deck, for this, I guess it's for this large circular wheel in the sky space station, as well as the floor plans for the starship and some other locations, all of which you'll get plenty of use in multiple times. You can reuse this for multiple settings and adventures and possibly even other games if you're so inclined, which I tend to try to do and get as much out of these maps as I can before they, fall apart. This one's actually in really good condition. I have, I believe, 2 copies of this game. Another one out in my garage somewhere. And then it came with a adventure module, the Warriors of white light. It's more or less a one-off Starship adventure. I never ran it, so I really have no spoilers to give to you. It also has a very nice floor plan for the ship, but they always do these in kind of a weird side cutaway sort of looking perspective. I could be wrong in that, but it just has that sort of look to it. But as you can see, it's all in all, it's another Starship floor plan that you could use. I'm certain it has something to do with the actual adventure module. Again, I didn't use, and the sort of space between planets map that I never quite understood. To be honest, I always use the more or less traveler method of traveling from planet and star to star. That being, you navigate toward the star through hyperspace, then once you exit hyperspace and get to the orbit of the planet, then you go down into like impulse or sublight speed, and have some encounters on the way to the planet, and then go from there. This kind of reminds me of the whole Queen of the Demon Webs module from TSR for Dungeons and Dragons, with all these little boxes and squares in between, like not quite jump points, but steps along the way. I guess marking it out for potential encounters or something like that. I really don't know. I didn't use much of this other than the main game rulebook, which honestly is absolutely crucial for your role-playing game adventures. Without it, you don't have the piloting skills and the engineering skills and the other, zero-G combat and repair skills and communication skills. They're all in this book, along with, like I said before, all of the rules and charts and graphs and equipment lists and everything you're going to need to build your own starship from the ground up, which I actually like this system quite a bit. It's a little simpler than the Traveler system, and that's the overall advantage of this game, is that the sciencey aspects, the technology, the building are a lot lower level. It's kind of based in one tech level, if you know what I'm talking about. Again, a Traveler reference. But I did like the way they did the profile side views of the ship, so that you could sort of draw the decks from a side view perspective, so you can get an idea of where everything is on the starship instead of the separate deck levels, which I do think you need both perspectives of a good starship to really get in there and immerse yourself into starship life, what it would be like on board a starship for weeks, if not months at a time. There aren't any new alien races or monsters or anything like that, which I think should have been included, but all of the optional equipment, the spaceship skills, the combat rules for starship combat and movement, all of that is in here, and rather simple to understand. And like I said, it's all in one book for the starships, and the other game, the original Star Frontiers, has everything for human and alien combat amongst one another. There's a little bit of history in here, another smaller hex map for smaller encounters, I guess, and a ship roster sheet, and like I said, all the special equipment lists and all that good stuff. But it's not really a standalone game unless all you want is a simple, 1 or 2 or 4 player board game, war game of starship combat, in which case you're getting a bonus as you get the 3, the 2 things together, along with the third thing, that being a mini adventure module for use with regular Star Frontiers. Now I also have the first module for Knight Hawks, which is kind of like the Kessel run, but they call it the Dramamine run, which is basically a reimagining of what the Kessel Run must have been, but in Star Frontiers sort of format. And to be honest, all this game was missing was a nice section on psionics, and you could have pretty much run a very TSR version of Star Wars in all its incarnations, each of the trilogies, and you could have, used this game to run a very New Hope type campaign, or you could run something, like I said before, more along the lines of 2001: A Space Odyssey, all the way up to possibly even a first generation Star Trek campaign, or anything in between. All in all, I really enjoyed everything that Star Frontiers was for a limited time before I went over completely to Traveler. But if you're looking for something simpler, easier to purchase, in one or two goes, I would definitely recommend this, especially if you're, a TSR purist, or you just want a more pulpy, rock'em sock'em sort of simpler romance, space opera type game. Then this is definitely your ticket. This is the game you're going to want. And like it says on the back, your imagination becomes your secret weapon. And for me, that's partially true. My secret weapon is and has always been and will always be Arduin, but you'll have to wait till Friday to hear more about that. Actually, not even this Friday, because I'm doing something extra special for a very good friend of ours, so please stay tuned. We've got a bunch of videos all week long. We're probably going to put out more than one episode per week this week, because we've got a lot of other things going on. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope to see you guys later on tonight with Gatekeepers, and then tomorrow with our first Archon Studios Dungeons and Lasers video for the month of August, which will be chock full of Archon goodness, as well as other game reviews, book reviews, maybe a movie review or two, and some other surprises for you guys for hanging out with us. Because this Tuesday is our 2-year anniversary. We've been doing this for 2 solid years, almost every day for the past 2 years, and we want to do something special this month. So stay tuned. Until next time, guys, we love you guys. Have a great evening and an even better weekend, and enjoy the rest of your summer. We will see you guys real soon. Bye.